Hi everyone, welcome to 5pointsblue.com. I'm Kelsey Charles, joined by Christy Scales and Lindsay Cash. Guys, we're in the off season right now, so we thought we'd wrap it up and hand out some hardware. So obviously some of the guys are over at the Pro Bowl right now, but I want to talk a little bit about some of the MVPs, who you thought, not necessarily league-wide, but team-wide. So Coach Garrett did nothing short of a great job this season, but give me an idea of who you thought, if you had to give out an award for MVP to an assistant coach, who would it be to?
Well, I'm going to go with Scott Linehan. This was his first year on the Cowboys staff, although he had worked with Jason Garrett with the Dolphins. In fact, Scott Linehan is the one who gave Jason Garrett his first job in coaching with the Dolphins when Linehan was offensive coordinator and Jason Garrett was his quarterbacks coach. But Linehan was the passing game coordinator and the play caller this year. And the reason I'm giving it to Linehan is I'm going back to week 3 and the game. They're playing the St. Louis Rams and fall behind 21-0, and yet still stuck with the run game. And, of course, they had great offensive line play this year, so a lot more confidence in running the ball. Also, Scott Linehan has great relationship with Tony Romo, great communication there. So I'm going to go with Scott Linehan, but that's a tip of the hat to everybody on the offensive side of the ball.
I have to agree with you, and we kind of have to go off the beaten path a little bit here so we can all have different people in this mix, but I'm going to have to go with the other side of the ball, Coach Marinelli. Rod Marinelli did something absolutely incredible and special this year with the Cowboys. Took a defense that was last in 2013, brought them to second in takeaways this year. So not only is he maybe one of the sweetest people walking up and down the hall, he's the opposite. He's the most intense coach I think I may ever see. It's
so funny because the folks who watch the games on TV and they see Rod Marinelli get so animated on the sideline and he's yelling at the players, when they're out on the field, or he's talking to them on the bench. And he's so intense, and yet at the same time, he is the most mild-mannered, soft-spoken guy when the game is not being played between the lines.
Exactly.
He is a wonderful man. It has a wonderful family. It was a great experience for me this year to get to know Rod a lot better and talk with him on the sideline a couple hours before the game, meet his family. He's just I say that next year that we have Bill Priakis and Dallas Cowboys merchandising set up a whole thing of t-shirts that say, "In Rod we trust," and I'm going to be the first one to buy one.
I'll be the second right behind you too, but I agree with you ladies, both of you. I mean, Linehan and Marinelli, what they've done is nothing short of incredible, but another guy too, I'm going to go ahead and give my MVP award to Eberflus. Matt Eberflus,
good choice.
Linebackers coach. I mean, I've said it all year long, he's a magician. He really is a magician. I mean, being able to move these guys in and out. He's got Sean Lee, who he lost really early. You've got Durant, Carter, Hitchens. I mean, Hitchens is a rookie, and he's played all 3 positions, and they've still been, successful. They've overachieved as a defense, and I'm going to give some of the credit to Matt Eberflus in that too. But some of the players that he's coached too might also be up for an MVP award. So give me your MVP for player, offense, and defense if you want to do both. Christy, who do you got?
Okay, I'm going to start on defense, and I'm going to go actually defensive line with Tyrone Crawford. Now, you look at the stat line, and it's 37 tackles, it's 3 sacks, and you're like, but this is a guy who was coming off an injury and just had such a big impact this year. And players like Jason Hatcher, who had left, and gone, a veteran who had left and gone to Washington, told the defensive staff and told Jerry Jones, said, hey, Tyrone Crawford could be a Pro Bowler. I mean, he's got that much talent. And so I'm just going to go with Tyrone Crawford. I mean, Jeremy Mincey led the team in sacks, great leadership, but I'm just going to go with defensive line and stick with Crawford.
And I'll move over to the offense and go with someone who's enjoying his 10th Pro Bowl right now, and that's Jason Witten. Now, a lot of people might say DeMarco Murray is the MVP of the offense. Lindsay, you are crazy, and he is. Absolutely what he's done. Just to be in the conversation with Emmitt Smith is incredible, but who helped block for every play down the field that you might not have seen for DeMarco Murray? That was Jason Witten. He had 5 touchdowns this year, 64 catches for over 700 yards, and he's as classy as they come. And every young player in the locker room, whether it's Dez, whether it's Cole Beasley, if they're ever interviewed, they say, I respect Jason Garrett and I respect Jason Witten. So he does way more than block and be successful in the field. I mean, he's a mentor for the entire team.
I'm going to go a little bit more vanilla with my pick and go with Tony Romo. I look at some of the games this team has played. I mean, it's kind of a chicken versus the egg kind of story when you talk about Murray versus Romo, and I think a lot of people pick Murray, but I look at the games that this team did not win, and Romo had a poor game in the 49ers game, the Washington game, and he went down in that game. Arizona, he didn't even play. So obviously he was a huge role player for this team. I mean, he's the quarterback, and so I'm going to go ahead and give him the MVP nod from me. But MVPs, what about under the radar players? Guys that you really didn't expect to show up, did show up and played kind of a quiet impact and a role this season.
Well, a fourth-round pick, a rookie from Iowa that, frankly, nobody had really heard about until the Cowboys selected him. But Anthony Hitchens, what he did this year, you mentioned Matt Eberflus and the great job that the linebacker coach did, but here's a rookie who started at all three different linebacking positions. He'd fill in for Rolando McClain in the middle. He'd play on the outside, both positions, weak side and strong side, and had such a major impact. So I'm going with Anthony Hitchens because he was the most reliable of all the linebackers this year.
I can't even venture away from what Christy's saying. I'm not even going to pick anyone else because I had Anthony Hitchens down as well. Just took everything in stride. I mean, the day he got here, he's out at OTAs for his first big NFL situation, and Sean Lee goes down, the guy he's supposed to learn behind. And he took everything in stride. He had an open mind. I mean, he was up to learn each position at linebacker. I think he did a great job this year.
I'm going to go ahead with you guys, too, and say Anthony Hitchens as well. Like I said, like you said, Eberflus, magician, he's amazing. But the fact that Anthony Hitchens, like you said, have played all three positions as a rookie, and not to mention, he had a high ankle sprain at the end of the year. Right. And did he miss a game? No, he was incredible. And I'm going to go ahead and give him tons of credit for that because that was admirable in a sense. He really stepped up for this team when they needed him most, and I think that's really important when you talk about things like that. So, lots of hardware to be handed out today, and we did our best in giving our awards. Let us know what you guys think, too. Sound off in the comments below. We want to hear what you guys think about Coach MVP, Player MVP, so on and so forth. But that's all we've got time for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for everything up to date with Valley Ranch and the team on 5pointsblue.com, and we will see you guys next time.